Hello and welcome to another episode of Daily Reflections. Pastor Sean coming to you from my front porch here today. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. Sky and I just got through watering the plants in the backyard, the garden, and feeding the dog. She's out back swinging on the swing set because it is a glorious, glorious day. Blue skies all around us, a nice little cool breeze blowing through. It turned out to be a magnificent day, a beautiful, beautiful day. And as we're starting to wrap this day up, I just wanted to stop by and talk with you for just a few moments. I was at Walmart today, and as we were pulling out of the parking lot, we saw some folks from our church, April Bennett and Riley, and we saw them. They were walking into Walmart, and I was so overwhelmed to see some people that I almost jumped out of the cart and hugged them. I did. I almost jumped out of the truck and gave them a hug. But I was so excited to see them, and it reminded me that we are building toward this Sunday. This Sunday is going to be a great day of reunion. It's going to be a great day of us getting back together. And visiting with one another, social distancing, of course, but we are going to have an opportunity to get together and worship with one another in the house of God. Pastor Tim has a great lineup of songs ready for us, and Pastor Patrick and I have been working diligently to get everything in place. He's been working there physically at the church, getting things ready, and I've been preparing myself spiritually for what's going to happen this weekend, and I'm just excited to be able to be back in service with you again. I've told you on many, many occasions that you need to go to church when you can, because there may come a day when you won't be able to go to church. Well, we've experienced that for the last 6 weeks. We've not been able to go to church. We have just because of the COVID-19 scare and the world global pandemic, we have been isolated and have not been able to worship together as we normally do, shaking hands, hugging necks, and doing all the different things that we do on Sundays. And now I hope that those of you who come sparingly will become more faithful in your attendance, because you can see very easily that church can be taken away. It can be taken away. Now, this time it was taken away by the government, but there may come a day when it's taken away by the Lord. The Lord won't allow us to worship together, or the government won't allow us to worship together, or our health won't allow us to worship together, or whatever. Whatever the case may be, we may come to a day where we won't be able to worship together like we do currently, and we may be under a quarantine. It could be anything. So remember the scriptures. Forsaking not the assembling of yourselves together as you see the day approaching. As we get closer and closer to the second coming of Jesus Christ, this world is going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. For the Christians, the Christian world is going to get stronger. It's going to get better. We are going to be, obviously we're going to be persecuted. We're going to be mocked. We're going to be criticized. All of those different things are going to happen. But for you and I, we know that the testing of our faith is what makes us strong. The testing of our faith is what strengthens us, strengthens our character, strengthens our development. It helps us to grow into the men and women of God that He desires for you and I to be. So what do we need to do? What do we need to do? We need to come to church. This Sunday is Mother's Day, and I know some of you are still nervous about coming to church, and that's perfectly fine. I know some of you are still concerned about the COVID-19, and that's perfectly fine. I understand those things. But however, when you have the opportunity to be in the house of God, we need to be in the house of God. We need to get back together. We need to do what we've always done. We need to worship the Lord in spirit and in truth. And we need to, as a body of believers, get together as often as we possibly can. There's so many things that are going on in our world that hinder us and draw us away. We need to make it a point to come back to church. Now's the time. The doors will be open, the music will be playing, the worship will be enhanced. We are going to have a wonderful, wonderful time, and God is going to be in our presence. It's not going to be anything super spiritual, but I tell you what, it's going to be great. It's going to be great to see you. Like I said, when I saw those April and Riley today, I wanted to jump out of the truck and run around and give them both a hug, because I haven't seen them. I've talked to them through Facebook and seen pictures on Facebook and different things like that, but physically I haven't seen them. They've been quarantined just like the rest of us. And when I saw my mom the other day, the first thing I did was grabbed her and hugged her because I haven't seen her. I've talked to her on the phone. I've talked to her through Zoom calls and different things like that. She's been with us through different things of that we've done here at the church and connected through different ways, but I hadn't seen her physically, and I grabbed her and I hugged her. And so when we get back together, it's going to be a wonderful time. It's going to be a magnificent time of worship, a magnificent time of the Word, a magnificent time of fellowship. It's going to be a whole lot of, it's great to see you, and oh, I missed you, and I love you, and a lot of that going on. So let's make it a habit to get together. Let's make it a habit to come to church. Let's make it a habit to be in the house of God and to be in fellowship and to be in worship with one another. Why? Because over the last 6 or 7 weeks when we haven't been able to do it, I've missed it. And I hope you have too. I've missed it. And I hope you have too. Coming from my front porch this afternoon for Daily Reflections, I am Pastor Sean, saying that I am praying for you. I love you, and I'm looking forward to being in service with you this Sunday. God bless you is my prayer.